Welcome to Asenso Tayo Leaders, where we bring you real stories from leaders like you so you can lead with more clarity, direction, and confidence.
Welcome to part 2 of our conversation with the one and only Adrian Ding. Now, firstly, if you haven't listened to part 1, I highly recommend you push pause on this podcast, go find part 1 and listen to that. You're going to get a really good frame up around who Adrian Ding is, what we think makes him special, and what these couple of episodes are all about. But essentially, part 1 is really Adrian painting his picture of what the future of leadership looks like and what the future is going to demand of leaders that perhaps it's not demanding now. Whereas in part 2, we're getting a bit more pragmatic. It's really about the rubber hitting the road and going, great, I want to be a better leader. I want to be the type of leader that the future needs. How do I do that? What are the actions? What are the mindsets? What are the behaviors that I need to follow to be a better version of myself? Part 1 is already there, ready for you to listen to. If you've already listened to part 1, we hope you enjoy part 2 of our conversation with the one and only Adrian Ding, and unfortunately, without the one and only Maria Asaro. Maria, have you forgiven me yet for recording an episode without you?
That's fine, because you have a perfect guest and the perfect topics that everybody will so gain from. And guys, please make sure that you have your pen and paper ready for some of the very important tips and tricks and templates that Adrian will talk about.
And I would say it's a bit clickbaity, but there's a little something he does at the end of the episode, which I can't guarantee this, but I'm pretty sure this would be the only time he has ever done this on a podcast or potentially with a business ever. Like, I think we got a unique, never to be repeated moment of vulnerability, which is such a great example of how Adrian would never tell you to do something he won't do himself. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but it's worth hanging around for, isn't it, Maria?
Yes, absolutely.
Worth the wait. Quite the showman. Let's just say that. Without further ado, please enjoy part 2 of our interview with Adrian Ding, CEO and founder of Maximum Impact.
I'll change gears a bit.
Yeah.
Because I think the picture that you've just helped paint of leadership and what the future will require, it's very alluring to me. And I think a lot of people out there will be listening and going, oh yeah, I want me some of that. How do I get that? But I also know you, me, everybody has the crap swirling through our head, right? The self-belief, the inner demons, the voices that kind of hold us back and unconstructive.
Oh, sure.
So I think everyone would have, most people would have heard the phrase self-limiting beliefs. Something that we talked a lot about in the workshop, and I really loved the way that you engage with that. So I suppose just to create some degree of alignment for people who haven't heard what they are, or for people who aren't quite sure how to describe them, what is a self-limiting belief?
A self-limiting belief is a mindset that you've acquired or learned over the years that prevents you from personal scale, from growing into a better version of who you are. Okay. Right? And it can range from, your upbringing, your childhood, parenting styles. It can also be an authoritative voice in your life, right? It could also be trauma or very, very hurtful experiences. It could even be comparison insecurity complex. I remember, Michael, when I was a teenager, I was 14 years old when I joined the basketball varsity team. And I was fortunate because I was 6'1" back in the day, but I was super duper thin, like a GI sheet, right? And so many pimples, walking flagpole without a flag, and applied for the varsity because they promised me that there would be chicks watching, but it's an all-boys school, so that never happened, right? And I got bullied by my team captain because we lost because of me, right? And that traumatized me throughout my adolescent years, and made me feel that I was less than. And my grades were just so bad. I was a victim. And then my mom, who's a corporate trainer and a former beauty queen, she kind of like woke me up. She said, hey, if you're going to be a victim all your life, I'm going to evict you from this house.
Yeah, wow.
Right. You got to have a change of environment. So at 17 years old, instead of being a victim, I decided to be a person working for Jollibee, the number one fast food chain in the country.
Yeah.
I flipped burgers, I made chicken joy, and I found so much joy in what I was doing, so much fulfillment, that even as I was hosting kiddie parties, I forgot about myself. And I realized that when you are serving other people, you will lose yourself to find yourself. And so what happened was, over the years, little by little, as I got exposure and experience, and at the same time I got mentored by several people, the self-limiting beliefs and insecurities literally were being peeled off. And I came to realize that we still have self-limiting beliefs to this day. I'm sure you have a few, right? But we actually have the ability to change that, to counter that. And how do we change that? We need to install an empowering belief, the truth about our capacity and potential as a person. So during the training, I felt that was one of the most important things that we had to train our people, because that's a barrier for growth, right? But we told them the only way that you can overcome that is by introducing a belief about you. And so I remember that many of them were affirming themselves, saying, I am competent, I am collaborative, I am composed, you know? And when this becomes a narrative in your mind, it affects your emotions. Your emotions leads to your actions, and eventually your actions leads to your results. Yeah.
So is this a case of just purely coming up with some empowering phrases and repeating them, the idea of mantras? Or is the process of, because I think sometimes we look at things like this and go, I need to conquer my self-limiting beliefs. One of my mentors is Seth Godin, and he always talks about dancing with the resistance. Don't try and silence it, because the more you try and silence it, the louder it gets. But having a comfortable relationship where you can see it, but you kind of put an arm around it and go, we're going to be okay here. I appreciate your concern for me,
Sure.
but I've got this.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry.
And that's the inner coach in you.
Yeah.
That's the inner coach in you, because we have an inner coach, but we also have an inner critic.
Yes.
Right? The inner critic is the heckler.
Yeah.
The inner coach is the empowering person or voice in your mind telling you that, no, Michael, you are capable of doing this.
Yes.
And so it's important for us to tune out the critic,
Yeah.
but to elevate the volume of the coach inside of us.
Yeah.
And the positive scripting in the words that we say, as long as it's true, as long as it's evidence in your life that, yes, you do have results in your life. Yes, you are an encouraging person. That builds your character.
Yeah.
And your resolve.
And something that I saw you do in your training, and I did it in a training earlier in the year, was sometimes we aren't our best judge of what we're great at, but using the people around us to say what they appreciate and to identify some of our positive traits. It's amazing how surprising that is for people when they go, oh, really? That's how I come across. You see that in me?
Yeah.
But often the people who we work closest with, they know us almost better than we know ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I am a living testimony of that, because I've seen how you function. I've seen how you've led. I've seen how you've carried out the conversations we've had back and forth. I have seen your authenticity. I have seen in that room your ability to be a servant leader. From taking down tarpaulins, which is not your job, to making a cup of coffee for, a guest like me, and for checking in on people. That's servant leadership there. And this is something that most people have to see, because leadership is visual, right? So at the same time, as you are doing that, you're actually reducing greatly your self-limiting beliefs, right? Because you're telling yourself that my actions will actually defeat the negativity or the critic inside of me. And I've seen you do that, right? And as people affirm you back, it becomes validation that your coach was actually voicing out to you the good stuff that is inside of you.
Yep.
But it's the people out there who have witnessed that,
Yeah.
who can testify that they do see the good in you.
Yes. So I think, what I resonate with about what you just said is that sometimes the best path is to stop thinking and to start acting. And through that acting and that giving to others, the confidence builds and the self-limiting beliefs reduce.
Sure.
I want to put you in the seat, though, of a CSA. So at Firelock, a CSA is a client service administrator, something of that nature. I just call them CSAs.
Okay.
So I'd love to think a lot of them are listening to this and they're thinking about something that they are scared of or fearful of, that potentially that they're embarrassed to talk to their CX coach about? Is the strategy for them, don't let that voice dominate, replace it with more empowering thoughts? Or is it actually important that they own that voice publicly and out loud and with their coach to actually say, this is how I'm feeling, and to get it out in the open? What's your view on that?
I think it takes two to tango.
Okay.
I think it's important for the coach to reach down first and create that safe space, like making them feel that you're psychologically safe around me. I hear you. I see you. You're not invisible to me. I care about you deeply. And your success is also my success. It's mutual, right? So from the coach reaching down, creating that kind of safety, it now allows the person to feel more comfortable so that they can open up and share. Yeah. To your question, once that parameter has been set, I think it becomes natural for the person to become honest with whoever their mentor or superior is.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do not wish to approach coaches because they see coaches as psychiatrists.
Yeah.
But they have to see coaches as a friend.
Yes.
And there's a difference between a psychiatrist and a friend. You know, a psychiatrist, it's like it's icky. It's like walking an eggshell because they think you're crazy, but they want to give you medication. Whereas if it's a friend, it's like, I could just be myself around you in the same way that I can be myself around you, right? And so, yes, they have to put that in that mind that my coach is accessible, available, reachable, human, authentic, and down to earth. Why should I not take the opportunity of reaching out and being vulnerable to them? But on the other side of things also, they cannot just go to their coaches and dump their dirty laundry, right? I mean, they can't just talk about financial issues, love issues, parental issues, right? Work issues. They also have to be accountable to their leaders. In other words, we as leaders, we're not here to take your dirty laundry and wash it for you for 29 pesos per kilo. But what we want you to do is, yes, I'm open to listen, but I also want to help you in terms of your professional career.
Yeah.
Not just more in your personal, but in your professional.
Yeah.
If you can get your professional right, it will impact your personal.
Yeah.
And if I can help you with a personal get one step better, it will also impact your personal.
Yeah. But it's a balance.
It's a balance.
Yeah. So I suppose what you're calling for here is a degree of a vulnerability, you know, that
Both sides.
yeah, on both sides. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a confronting idea for people because, you know, if I'm putting my CX coach hat on, I go, if I share my own challenges as a way to validate yours, does that make me look weaker because you're going, oh, well, you've made mistakes or you've got self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
On the flip side, there might be a CSA or someone out there who goes, oh gosh, if I let my boss or my manager know that I'm not good at this or I'm scared of this or I'm not as mentally strong as they thought, are they going to think that I'm not good at my job?
Yeah.
What's your message to people who are having that fear of, you know, showing the chinks in your armor?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is authenticity. If you and I can be real, honest, and human with each other, then you have real connection, right? We were trained as children not to cry, not to show any form of weakness. But to be vulnerable is not weakness. Actually, to be vulnerable requires a deep sense of courage because you're going to have to admit that you did mess up.
Yeah.
That requires courage.
Yeah.
For me to tell everybody in that room that I made a huge blunder this year by over-trusting someone who got away with it,
Yes.
that makes them relate to my humanity.
Yeah.
Instead of speaking about my unblemished track record,
Yeah.
that I'm almost close to perfect, they won't be able to relate to that because we're all flawed as human beings.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for us as coaches not to see our flaws or our imperfections as a blemish for life, but to be vulnerable is to say, this was an area in my life that I did do very well. Here's what I did to fix that. This is the result that transpired after that. And because you have that kind of cycle, you now have the authenticity and the legitimacy to be able to share that story to someone.
Yeah.
Because you've learned it from someone who overcame it.
Yeah.
I always say that it's always best to overcome drug addiction by learning it firsthand from a drug addict who overcame addiction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's better to understand what it means to be a single mom who's pregnant
Yeah.
from another single mom
Yeah.
who went through it, who's deserted by her own husband and partner.
Yeah.
There's more strength there,
Yes.
right? As against getting advice from someone. And that is the authenticity that these coaches need to have with people. So that it's easier for us to buy into you because you went through the experience.
Yeah. And perhaps as the coach, leading with that level of vulnerability gives your team permission to respond with equal vulnerability.
Exactly.
Someone has to make the first move.
Exactly. But the coach also has to know when to draw the line in the sand and goes like, hold on for a second. All right, Sheena, this is way too personal already.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. If you want my input on that,
Yeah.
with regard to work, let's focus on this aspect over here.
Yeah.
You know, so they also need to draw the line because sometimes when we come to our coaches, we think that they're shrinks. They're not.
Yeah. It's so true.
They're supposed to guide us and goad us along the way, but they're not there to take in your dirty laundry all the time.
Yeah, and that's a hard line to find in this world of servant leadership where you're like, I'm here to help you no matter how you need my help.
Right.
It must be challenging to have to draw boundaries and to go, I know you need help here, but I can't do that in this exact moment.
But the challenge there is if you're overly helping people,
Yes.
as I mentioned in the training, you can collapse because you might have a messianic complex.
Yeah.
That it's your responsibility to help everybody else, but in the process, you're burning yourself out.
Yeah.
Right. So again, there's a line that we have to draw as leaders.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you. I'm here to serve you.
Yeah.
Right. But there are some things in your own life that you got to pick up the pace.
Yep.
But I also got to make sure that I maintain that level of health within me. Like if you notice that many of our people are saying, I've reached out to my parents, I've helped my family, I've sacrificed so much. I said, that's wonderful. But you got to leave something for yourself.
Yeah.
You got to take care of yourself too. You are the vessel,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's what coaches need to do too.
Absolutely. One of my favorite authors in this space is Brene Brown, who talks about vulnerability.
Sure.
The queen of vulnerability.
Yeah.
And she always says that shame can't exist in the light. It only exists in the dark. And the idea there being that whatever we're ashamed of or scared of or fearful of or whatever that self-limiting belief is, by getting it out in the world, it loses that power over you.
Sure.
Firstly, I think because you always think it's going to be worse in your mind by sharing it, but then in reality, it's never that bad. But then you also find out by sharing it that other people go, oh yeah, I've gone through that. And all of a sudden you go, oh wow, I'm not broken. There's not something wrong with me. We all have a lot more in common than I originally thought.
Sure.
Has that been your experience of being more vulnerable, sharing these self-limiting beliefs, I suppose getting them out in the open so you can do something with them? Yeah. Is it usually an overwhelmingly positive experience?
We all know, Michael, that stories sell. But stories that gel are stories that are authentic. So in some of the workshops that I've done, I usually open the conversation by saying, am I with family right now? Can I just be open and can I share with you guys a moment of failure? And most of the time, I'm always going to get is yes. And that sends me a signal that what people are yearning for is truth and reality. So I share about my bumps, my bruises, my scars, my wounds, and also the shame. Like the times that I've hurt this person or disappointed my wife or I let my kids down. And in that tender moment, I just noticed in the crowd, Michael, that the body starts to shift. You know, people start to lean in and they get a little bit uncomfortable because the story that I'm telling is actually the story that's happening in their own life.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right. And so when it comes down to smaller conversations, when we talk to people and they just relate what their problems are, and I have this habit of just listening in and just asking and just tell me more.
Yeah.
And then when they say, what do you think? I do not give them advice. I will tell them that, you know what, let's just say his name is Michael. I would say, you know what, Michael, there was a time in my life that I also had a moral failure. There was a time in my life that I also stumbled, and this is what I took from that. This is what helped me, and this is what could possibly help you.
Yeah.
By doing that, there's more like a sense of humanity and connection.
Yeah.
And trust also, because the person can relate to you. You're coming from a position of you failed, but you failed forward.
Yeah.
As against a position of, oh, you're the expert and you're giving me advice, but I didn't even ask for advice. I just wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
I remember, Michael, many years ago, one of my pastors picked me up from the airport, surprisingly. And it was a long ride home. And as we were driving, I was just telling him that, oh, I messed up with something.
Yeah.
And he was just holding on to the steering wheel and he was just nodding his head. And then he said, many years ago, I had a moral failure. I had a huge collapse and I thought I'd lose my wife, And the moment he started that line, I dropped everything. I just focused my attention on him. And I just wanted to listen intently. What can I learn from this?
Yeah.
He did not give me a solution to my problem, but I felt heard. And at the end of it all, I was able to take away the lesson behind his painful experience.
Okay.
So I do feel that, yes, stories sell. Sometimes as leaders, we have to be vulnerable. We have to have an inventory of stories that can relate to other people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it has given a positive result in the end. But I think at the end of the day, we also have to remind people that you can pick up the pieces of your life. You got this. You can coach yourself too.
Yeah.
You can rally yourself in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the language around coaching is often, problem solving or having the answers. I think sometimes it's just about asking the questions.
Exactly.
Letting someone coach themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. I was corrected before in that aspect because I really thought that coaching was telling people what to do. No, it's not. It's helping them figure out what they're supposed to do by asking them questions that will drive them to make the right decisions. I was so wrong.
Yeah.
The person was saying, oh, you're talking about a basketball coach.
Yeah.
So, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been so generous with your time, Adrian. I really appreciate it.
I love this.
I have
honor.
one, I suppose, question to wrap everything together, and then I want to take you through our quick climb questions.
Let's go. Yeah.
The one to wrap it all together is we want to make sure this podcast helps people take the next step in their leadership journey, whatever that is. And so we'd like to install an idea around try this tomorrow. So a simple thing that will start the momentum in the direction that they want to head. So you talked a lot about the future of leadership, that idea of being strong-minded and soft-hearted. You've talked about self-limiting beliefs. There's so much there, but I'd like you to answer this for two different people.
Sure.
One is someone who isn't a leader by job title, but wants to be more of a leader or become a leader in the future.
Yeah.
The other one is someone who has a job title of being a leader and is managing a group. If they want to start the process of accelerating their growth, of becoming more of the leader that the future is going to demand, of finding those self-limiting beliefs and not letting them hold them back any longer, what's something that they could try? Let's not say tomorrow. What's something that they could try today? Each of those two groups, what's something that they could try today or start doing today that's going to make sure that they start in the right direction?
I'll answer that question a little bit differently. I will start by saying these two types of people can do this one thing that can change the game. All right. And that would have to be feedback. Constructive feedback from three kinds of people. The boss that I work with, the cross-functional team member that I collaborate with, and the downline who reports to me and provides section or support for me. Yeah, I would do that. Why? Because I'm blindsided.
Yeah.
I'm biased to my own. I think I know, but there are many things that I do not know, yet I should know. And the best people to do that are the people who see me in action, right? I would submit myself. I would say, hey, Roy, hey, Maria, is it okay if I schedule on Thursday a 15-minute meeting with you? And they're going to say, what for? I said, I just really want to know how I could become a better leader in this organization. I just want to know how can I become a better follower in this organization, because your feedback is something that I value. Feedback, they say, is the breakfast of champions. Actually ignites high performance. Unfortunately, people are scared of feedback because they think it's all criticism. Why? Because we were raised by parents who are highly critical, right? So I'm going to go with feedback first. The second thing I'd probably do if I am just an individual without a title is I would change my diet in personal growth. I would actually curate the kind of stuff that I need to learn because upskilling gives me relevance, competence, and a greater degree of influence in life. So I'm going to change my menu of personal development from the podcasts, from the YouTube, from the IG accounts, everything that I do. Yeah, I'm also going to make sure that I not necessarily cancel people out, but I select the kind of people who I will allow to be a voice in my life.
Yeah.
I would do that ASAP. If I'm a leader, what I would do is I would probably say, what is a career track that I want to achieve? And I want to set a timeline, whether it's a year, whether it's 3 years, whether it's 5 years. Because 25-year-old Jerry will have different needs when he's 30-year-old Jerry. And if he's preparing for 30-year-old Jerry at 29, he's 4 years late. So I want to ingrain in that particular leader, what is my career track?
Yep.
What is the goal that I really want to achieve? I want to take inventory of that. And what are the opportunities within the company that I can maximize to be able to get to that level? And then I go back to my boss and I'm going to say, this is the kind of direction that I'd like to take in my career. Will there be opportunities for this? Because I really want to better myself so that I can better contribute to the organization.
Yeah.
Not necessarily better my pay, but better myself so that I can better contribute to the organization.
Yeah.
You see, there are some people who are so expecting for a higher pay, but they're not willing to deliver higher value.
Yeah.
Right? So again, there's feedback. Again, there's the personal development, curation, your menu. Then the other one is plotting out your career track. The other thing that I would like to suggest is if I'm already, if I'm the individual person, I'm going to go up to my leader and say, is there a responsibility? Is there a task that you can delegate to me?
Oh, yeah.
So that I can show you my sense of ownership, creativity, problem solving skills. All right. Not just to boast, but I really want to train myself to be dependable and reliable to you.
Yeah.
I would do that. Is there any responsibility, any role that you'd like me to take?
Yes.
And in my team, most of our people are like that. Is there something that you want me to do that I can do for you so I can get some pressure out of your plate?
Yeah.
Without me having to tell them. They're not on the waiting end. They're on the asking end.
Yeah.
Is there something I can do for you? And the reason why for me that's quite interesting, because it shows me the person's proactivity.
Yeah.
It shows me that they're willing to anticipate.
Yeah.
Now, for the leader, something that's very important would be is this. If ever there is, say, for example, a challenging situation in the organization, rather than being mum about it, I would go to my leader and say, hey, Michael, I heard about this issue. Is it possible for me to pitch an idea, a solution to that? And whether it's a yes, whether it's a no, it's all good. But I want to show you that I have this desire in my heart to be able to help the organization. So I don't know if that makes sense, but those are the steps that I would do.
Yeah.
Just one way to improve the way things are.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you've seen the artwork of our podcast, but it's a mountain. The idea being that, every mountain climb is a series of steps. And as you were speaking, I just thought to myself, what you're really saying is you can't climb a mountain unless you know where you want to go to. So work out which mountain you want to climb.
Exactly.
But then you might not know where you're starting. So speak to the people around you to get some feedback about where you're at.
Exactly.
And through that conversation, they're going to tell you what the path is to get there.
Exactly.
But don't just think about the path. Speak to them about that task that you can help with, which is the first step on the path up the mountain.
Exactly. And it's important for you to know who are the ones who got up in the mountain already.
Yeah.
So, 3 kinds of people in the organization, Michael. You got your joiners, your campers, and then you have your climbers.
Oh, tell me about those.
Yeah, so the joiners are the kinds of people they just want to join because they need the job.
Yeah.
They want the experience. They're gung-ho.
Yeah.
And then after 6 months to a year being in a company, they realize, oh, it's such an imperfect company.
Yeah.
They get disgruntled and they decide to move. Or they could be in the company for 10 years, but they do not want responsibility. Then you have the campers. These are the kinds of people who are not contented or settled where they are. They want to keep going up.
Okay.
They've received some awards, accolades, validation, recognition. They get this performance appraisal. But when it comes to very, very sticky situations wherein there is a responsibility that's not within their comfort zone,
Yep.
they reject it.
Okay.
Because they feel that they're not adequately trained for that.
Yep.
Instead of looking for the training, they park themselves where they are. The climber is the kind of person who's willing to take risks. This is the kind of person wherein they are immune to rejection. You know, they're open to constructive feedback. They have charted a course in their career. They're willing to take the pain and the progress that goes along with it, right? But they're also willing to take responsibility. They have a sense of ownership. When things go wrong, they rectify the problem. They have a desire to build teams. This is the climbing attitude.
Okay.
And I feel that we have the environment. We've created kind of like the different peaks to be able to achieve that here in 5 minutes.
Yeah, beautiful. Adrian, there's just so many amazing ideas there for people. What I love about your answer to that last question is, I think wherever someone who's listening is at, there is a step for them that you've given.
There is.
And a lot of it, though, starts with listening before you decide. Are you ready for the quick climb questions?
Okay.
So for those of you who are listening for the first time, firstly, welcome. But our quick climb questions, they are a group of questions we ask every guest. Adrian, the idea here is quick thinking, quick answers.
10 seconds.
You have as much time as you want. But the idea is to just give a simple idea that addresses each one and not to overthink it.
Got it.
Let's start with what's a big mistake you've made as a leader and what you learned from it.
Yelling at a downline instead of having a constructive conversation with them.
Okay. What's a surprisingly simple leadership tip that actually works?
Listen more to people than dictate the pace.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really common answer to that, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how few people do it, but that you're exactly right. That is,
Yeah.
I think listening is a superpower.
Yes. Yes. Speaking last also is very important because you give everybody the floor to pitch their ideas
Yeah.
before you tie it up with yours.
Yeah. That, and they're not being encumbered by what you're saying.
Exactly.
I could see Angeli, who's filming, nodding when you said that one. So she likes that one.
Yeah.
A lot of people would look at you and go, Adrian's got it all figured out, but I know you've got a growth mindset and you're constantly honing your craft.
Yeah.
So what are you still trying to get better at, even though you are still figuring it out?
My craft itself, it's a very complicated craft. It's not easy. I've not reached expertise level yet. People say I'm a black belter. No, I'm a white belter. I'm always here to learn, always here to grow.
So what is a specific skill at the moment that you're really honed in on, that you've identified you're not good at, that you're trying to build?
I think because I'm very, very busy, I think I need to do a better job when it comes to time management.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Good one. Common one.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you could give one piece of leadership advice to your younger self, maybe varsity Adrian, victim Adrian, or any younger version of you, one piece of leadership advice that has served you incredibly well, what would it be?
Pain is temporary. Growth is permanent. But growth is also progressive.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's powerful.
Thank you.
I'm actually about to ask you a question I've never asked anyone.
Okay.
It was asked of me, and it floored me.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
That scares me though.
this is the most important question, I think. You told me yesterday that you sing in the shower. So our question to wrap things up is, what is Adrian Ding's go-to karaoke song?
A Million Dreams. A Million Dreams is keeping me awake.
Is that from The Greatest Showman?
The Greatest Show.
Okay.
Yeah. That's currently what's playing in my mind and in my bathroom too. Yeah.
I had a beautiful, unforgettable moment with my niece, who is actually Annie at Five Elks' daughter.
Okay.
And we were singing that together when we went on a holiday to Ireland. And I always remember that song as we sang it together. It was really special. So it's a lovely song. It's got a lovely energy to it.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. We sing it a lot in the car, but I sing it so passionately in the bathroom.
Can you give us a bit of your vulnerability and share the chorus with us on air?
Oh my gosh, Angeli, I can't believe you're doing this. Okay.
Angeli had nothing to do with this. I'm taking full responsibility for our question.
Oh, yeah? Does the mic work? Okay. Gosh, why did you put me in this karaoke moment? 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think about the world to be a vision of the world I see. A billion dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
That was awesome. Firstly, you have a great voice. You totally undersold your voice. But secondly, that was actually a beautiful gift. I've got kilik. I've got the goosebumps.
Oh my gosh.
And
So that's 20 Samoan.
yes, I think what makes you such a great leader is that you are everything you say, you do. And so, well, I didn't expect you were going to finish up by singing. I think it's a great example that you're asking us to be vulnerable, but you're willing to do that yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why you are such a beacon and so many people look up to you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much for your time. It was so great. I'm so glad that we found the time to do this while I was
Absolutely.
in Cebu.
This is a must. Yeah.
And thanks so much for everything you're giving to the 5 Elk team, but also to the world.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thanks for listening to Asenso Tayo Leaders. If something landed with you today, don't just keep it in your head. Make sure you try it. Kaya mo yan. Asenso Tayo Leaders is brought to you by 5 Elk, a team who helps great businesses build great offshore teams. If you're curious about what we do or what it's like to work with us, you'll find everything you need at 5elk.com. And if you're leading people but want to find ways to do it better, make sure to follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or your podcast platform of choice, so you're the first to know when we release a new episode. Remember, you're not meant to have it all worked out. Just keep taking the next step. Asenso tayo!